Oh, Krishna. It's out here before dawn, chanting Hare Krishna. And listen to what's going on out here. Wow, can you hear that? I think I remember hearing that in Vrindavan, the birds are all great sages. So the sun is just coming up. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I was feeling so grateful for the Brahmins. That was a big part of Prabhupada's mission, was to bring people to that platform, Brahminical platform. Brahmins are very dear to Krishna. Namo Mahavadhanaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gurtasena Maha Namo Brahmanya Devaya Gobrahmanya Hitaya Cha Jagadhitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Do you have to be a Brahmin to be a devotee? No. Do you have to be a sannyasi? No. Well, that's good. Do you have to be a man? No. Well, that's good, because I'd be really out of luck, wouldn't I? Krishna. I'd have to take another birth just so I could be a man or a sannyasi or a Brahmin or something. But Lord Chaitanya has made it very simple. Jai Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Well, there's a lot of freedom, in not having to be something. And just chant Hare Krishna. There's so much freedom there. That's why I was feeling so grateful for the devotees who are acting in the different capacities. I just feel really grateful. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Because I sure can't do it. Hare Krishna, Krishna. All I can do is just try to chant Hare Krishna. It's really fun going out like this. I don't have like the traditional dress. I just wear whatever I'm wearing, But like this, it's very interesting. Hare Krishna. being in public like this, I'm finding the most wonderful responses. I mean, people, they're respectful. They want to help, whatever it is. Can I hold the door for you? I mean, they ask questions, why, what is that? It's just amazing. The acceptance. But I'm not doing this, for show. I'm doing this because this helps me remember Krishna. Just amazing. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Wherever you go, wherever you meet, just tell them about Krishna or Krishna's instructions. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. When they're coming up to you and asking, it makes it really easy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare. No axe to grind, no anger, no fear, no fault finding. Just chant Hare Krishna. Be happy. That's one of Krishna's, it's probably Krishna's most powerful potencies, is he's the all-attractive. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. I was attending a session yesterday, and really nice, very by-the-book presentation, word for word, just repeating practically perfectly Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And every now and then, a little something of the personality that was speaking would come in. But mostly just like, by the book, cut and dry. Yeah. But verbatim. It was actually a very nice presentation. Very Brahminical. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And one of the things that I'm remembering was when he was sharing how a problem is when people come to Krishna for something other than love of Godhead. And so they get a position, and then they get attached to the position. And it becomes a stumbling block. My position. Hare Krishna. So I was thinking, well, I don't have that problem. I have no position. And it's very freeing, actually, to just chant Hare Krishna. No position. Hare Krishna. I want to look at that verse of the Gita, maybe later, where Arjuna asks, what happens to someone who doesn't finish their Krishna consciousness? Are they like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? If they don't do their duty, are they... that's why I want to look at the verse. I can't remember exactly. But he was talking about having no position in any sphere. So I kind of feel like that. I don't have any position in any sphere. And it's great. It's absolutely wonderful. But I'm appreciating very much devotees that are carrying these different services and occupations. I appreciate it. Those that can. If I could do it, I would probably do it, but I can't do it, so there you go. It's not artificial. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram. But it's leaving me free to just chant Hare Krishna and relish Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. I run into devotees a lot of times that challenge that, you have to serve Prabhupada. You have to serve Prabhupada. The movement, it's not serving Prabhupada. They're not serving Prabhupada. I see a lot of devotees with this. And you say, well, that really sounds offensive because look at all the wonderful service everyone's doing. I mean, the movement's spreading worldwide. People are chanting Hare Krishna. It's practically a household word. The seeds are scattered far and wide. Yeah, but they're not actually serving Prabhupada. And I'm trying to understand, where is that coming from? What is it with those devotees that you say, well, some other devotees who appreciate what's going on, they say, well, they're offensive. The devotees are saying like that. They're offensive. They're just offensive. I was thinking, no, they're in separation. And so they're crazy. They're crazy for Prabhupada. They're actually on a very high level, a mood of separation. It looks like, well, they're being offensive. No, they're not being offensive. They're mad. They're mad in separation. They can't get any relief. They experienced something, those devotees that were present with Prabhupada. Not all of, this isn't like one size fits all. I'm just talking about certain devotees that I've been running into. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about a few devotees that I've run into. They experience something so intense that they want it back and they can't see how to get it. So they're thinking, well, it must be because the movement's off track, or the people that are preaching now, they're not serving Prabhupada. Because of their own intense desire. They're actually crazy. They're actually crazy. Hare Krishna. So I was thinking, wow, they could just be crazy like that for Krishna, you know. But being crazy for Krishna's devotee, Hare Krishna, that'll get you there. That'll get you there. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I couldn't sleep one night recently, and I was like, oh no. I hate it when I can't do that because it's things I have to do during the day. So I just got up and I started chanting and then turned on the internet. And for some reason, when I looked on YouTube, you know, see is anything live on YouTube. There were a few. There was a temple in India, so it was nighttime here, but it was daytime there. So I looked at live broadcasts from Delhi, live broadcasts from Vrindavan, you know, who's online, what's going on. Other devotees too. And you know how they suggest things for you on YouTube? So they suggested this movie, Man from La Mancha. And I know it's a really famous classic, and I always wanted to kind of see what it was. So I watched it. It was a long movie. My God, it was like almost 2 hours. It was really long, but it was worth it. Because the man from La Mancha has a kind of crazy mentality that makes him out of touch with the times that he's living in and gives him such a strong desire to taste what he's read about. He's been reading books about the days when the knights in shining armor would roam the countryside, saving people and fighting demons and killing thieves like this. And it was a time of great honor and valor, and they had that strong service mood to keep the world safe and right. And so he was attracted to that. He was getting a little bit older. It looks like he might have been going through a midlife crisis. But anyway, he was attracted to that, and he took it very seriously. And he identified completely with being a knight in shining armor. But that was like centuries ago. So he was actually quite crazy. But he couldn't give it up. And he convinced someone in his village, a very simple person who was a little bored with life and unhappy, to go on an adventure. So he changed his name. He's now Don Quixote, a knight in shining armor. And everything he does really messes everybody else up. Like, he comes across this chain gang, okay, prisoners all in chains. They're murderers, they're thieves, right? And he sees them as being held as slaves and that it's an injustice. So he attacks the government men who are taking these chain gang people out to go do hard labor. He attacks the government men and he frees the slaves, the prisoners. Well, the prisoners steal his partner's donkey and they actually try to kill him. And so he's a knight in shining armor, and he's attached to that. He wants to taste that. He wants to experience that valor, that greatness, that grandness. And he's a little crazy. He's gone quite crazy, actually. And his adventures are really, really, it's very instructive. It's a very human, warm kind of understanding of that kind of craziness. And to be quite honest with you, I see it in a lot of the senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada. They're like Don Quixote. Of course, whatever a devotee can do for serving Krishna, it's not like they're freeing people on chain gangs, but whatever they can do, is not lost, and it's always for the benefit of everyone. But it really is kind of like Don Quixote. They want that taste so badly that they're actually crazy. So if they offend, so-called offend, the devotees who are following the pattern that was set by Srila Prabhupada, chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regular principles, the Brahminical standard, those devotees that are taking that path very seriously, the Brahmins, the sannyasis, and if they offend them, it's not really offending, it's just, they're crazy. They want that taste so bad. They're actually crazy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Crazy for Krishna. I had one devotee who realized that they had that craziness. They realized it. It's actually blinding. It's like Don Quixote was blinded that he thought the chain gang people were slaves. He was blinded. He couldn't see. He was blinded. So sometimes this intense desire is actually blinded. And in that blindness they offend, but it's not really offense. It's just they've gone mad. I had one devotee who realized what had happened to them. This was really far out. They won't talk to me now, but they realized their craziness, and they apologized to me because they manifested a lot of the craziness toward me. And they apologized. They said, I was so crazy. I was so crazy. So I it was as if they had offended me. That's why, I think that must be why a devotee doesn't get offended. Is because they see that they're just crazy. So how can you be offended by a crazy person? A crazy person can't offend anyone. Even the legal system won't try a crazy person, even for a horrible crime, if they're crazy. Because they can't be held accountable. Because they're crazy. So when they apologized with a straw between their teeth and a very sheepish grin, and I could see it was very genuine, I just said, that's all right. He's crazy for Krishna. So how can you be offended? You can't be offended. Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I'm extremely grateful, personally, myself, fallen, can't do anything, for the devotees who are able to do whatever it is they're doing. Probably the reason I'm not angry is that I'm experiencing something so wonderful, there's nothing to be angry about. There's nothing to be angry about. It's not anyone's fault that I'm not experiencing something wonderful, because I'm experiencing something wonderful. For me, it's very, very simple. It's very simple. And I take this as personal instruction. I have 2 or 3, maybe a few more, but very personal instructions from my spiritual master. And I got the instruction indirectly by hearing him instruct someone else. And I took it as my instruction also. It was when he was in Atlanta. And one of the devotees who was very successful in selling books, from the back of the crowded temple room, asked Prabhupada, waving one of the Bhagavatams in the air, "What pleases you the most, Prabhupada? What pleases you the most?" As if distributing his books, selling a lot of books, pleased him the most. Well, we know it does please Prabhupada, for goodness sake. Of course it does. But what pleases you the most? See, if he had just said, "What pleases you, Prabhupada?" maybe Prabhupada would have said, "It pleases me to distribute my books." But he didn't. He said, "What pleases you the most, Prabhupada? What pleases you the most?" In other words, more than deity service, more than having a business for Krishna, more than raising a family and beautiful children for Krishna. What pleases you the most, Prabhupada? What I'm doing, Prabhupada. Right? That was kind of like behind the question. Prabhupada, he said, pause for a moment or two, very gravely, he said, "To see that you are loving Krishna. That's what pleases me the most." And it's a good thing, because I can't do anything else except chant Hare Krishna and try to stay absorbed in a loving mood toward Krishna. The holy name, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. For goodness sake, I'm a bug. I'm a bug. Less than a bug. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare. It's not that I asked to be like this, it's just the way I am. I'm chanting Hare Krishna, and this is what I'm realizing. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. But I'm so grateful. I'm a grateful bug that there are devotees that are doing very big management, big intellectual presentations. And I'm really so grateful, because that leaves me free. I don't have to be in anxiety that, who's going to do all of that, because they're doing it. It's just the way, it's always been like that for me. Even when Prabhupada was present, I was just a bug. You are there, the fly on the wall, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Like, one thing I was able to do was run through the streets with the good news. Run up to people, "Excuse me," and try and get them to take a book. I did that like every day, all day. I wanted to do it forever, but things have changed. I'm not running anywhere now. I got great strength for doing that, going out, running through the streets, because devotees were maintaining the temple, they were worshiping the deity, they were ringing the bells, and I was happy to know that all of that was going on, and that I didn't have to do it. It left me free to chant Hare Krishna and run through the street with good news. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So when I see these devotees, and there are several of them, who are angry because they want the taste. They got a taste, they want the taste, they don't know where the taste went, and they think it's because other devotees have stolen Prabhupada, or they've stolen the movement, or they've stolen... No, they're just crazy. Crazy for Krishna, crazy for Prabhupada. It's actually a very elevated platform. But they're so hankering, so desiring, they've actually gone mad. Krishna, anyway, that's how I see it. That's who I hang out with, all these crazy people. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So that's why I'm so grateful that there are devotees who are doing the straight and narrow, because somebody has to do it. I'm so grateful that they're doing it, because I can't. There's no way. Krishna Chaitanya. Oh, whoa. Woo, Krishna. Ah. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh my goodness. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Let's see here. Okay, let's get sober here. Too intoxicated. Krishna. Sober up here a little bit. Read a little Krishna book. Get sober. Oh boy. Oh good. Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. Let's do it. Oops, wrong glasses. Hare Krishna. Well, maybe I can see anyway. Yeah, I'll try to make it work. See? Even wrong glasses can help a little bit. So this is the killing of Kamsa. It's chapter 43. Summary study, the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, which deals with the intimate pastimes of Lord Krishna and reveals his friends and family mode. The friend and family mode of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, Krishna and the residents of Vrindavan, cowherd boys, cowherd men, they've come to Mathura, the capital city of King Kamsa, who was the reigning authority for the area. Whose plan is to kill Krishna, because he's convinced that Krishna is going to kill him. So he wants to kill Krishna first. The best defense is a strong offense. And that's a strong offense, to kill Krishna. So he's taken the path of strong offense. He wants to kill Krishna. He set up a wrestling match. And the plan is that the wrestlers will kill Krishna. Break his neck or his back or strangle him or something. In the middle of a wrestling arena where everyone can see. Now that would be dramatic, wouldn't it? To see Krishna killed before everyone's eyes. And then King Kamsa, there's no impediment to his power and authority to have Krishna killed right in front of everyone. But Kamsa's been having some bad dreams. Premonitions that it's he that's going to be killed in front of everyone, not Krishna. So this is the killing of Kamsa. After Kamsa's wrestlers expressed their determination, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the killer of Madhu, confronted Chanura, and Lord Balaram, the son of Rohini, confronted Mushdika. So these wrestlers were huge. Like if you've ever seen WWE and these like mammoth, muscular monsters. So they were like that. Huge. And Krishna and Balaram are just like these young boys, that they're like weight, size alone. It's like totally mismatched. They're like children with these huge monsters. But they go ahead anyway. Krishna and Chanura, then Balaram and Mushdika locked themselves hand to hand, leg to leg, and each began to press against the other with a view to come out victorious. They conjoined palm to palm, calf to calf, head to head, chest to chest, and began to strike each other. The fighting increased as they pushed one another from one place to another. One captured another and threw him down on the ground, and another rushed from the back to the front of another and tried to overcome him with a hold. The fighting increased, step by step. There was picking up and dragging and pushing. Then the legs and hands were locked together. All the arts of wrestling were perfectly exhibited by the parties, as each tried his best to defeat his opponent. But the audience in the wrestling arena was not very satisfied because the combatants did not appear to be equally matched. They considered Krishna and Balaram to be mere boys before the wrestlers Chanura and Mushdika, who were huge men as solid as stone. Being compassionate and favoring Krishna and Balaram, many members of the audience began to talk as follows. "Dear friends, there's danger here." Another said, Even in front of the king, this wrestling is going on between incompatible sides. The audience had lost their sense of enjoyment. They could not encourage the fighting between the strong and the weak. Mushtika and Chanura are just like thunderbolts, as strong as great mountains. And Krishna and Balaram are two delicate boys of very tender age. The principle of justice has already left this assembly. Persons who are aware of the civilized principles of justice will not remain to watch this unfair match. Those taking part in this wrestling match are not very much enlightened. Therefore, whether they speak or remain silent, they are being subjected to the reaction of sinful activities. But my dear friends, another in the assembly spoke out, just look at the face of Krishna. There are drops of perspiration on his face from chasing his enemy, and his face appears like the lotus flower with drops of water. And do you see how the face of Lord Balaram has turned especially beautiful? There is a reddish hue on the white face because he is engaged in a strong wrestling match with Mushtika. Ladies in the assembly also addressed one another. Dear friends, just imagine how fortunate the land of Vrindavan is, where the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is present, always decorated with flower garlands and engaged in tending cows along with his brother, Lord Balaram. He is always accompanied by his cowherd boyfriends, and he plays his transcendental flute. The residents of Vrindavan are fortunate to be able to constantly see the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram, which are worshipped by great demigods like Lord Shiva and Brahma and the goddess of fortune. We cannot estimate how many pious activities were executed by the damsels of Rajabhumi so that they were able to enjoy the Supreme Personality of Godhead and look on the unparalleled beauty of his transcendental body. The beauty of the Lord is beyond compare. No one is higher or equal to him in beauty of complexion or bodily luster. Krishna and Balaram are the reservoir of all kinds of opulence, namely wealth, strength, beauty, fame, knowledge, renunciation. The gopis are so fortunate that they can see and think of Krishna 24 hours a day, beginning from their milking the cows, or husking the paddy, or churning the butter in the morning. While engaged in cleaning their houses and washing their floors, they are always absorbed in the thought of Krishna. The gopis give a perfect example of how one can execute Krishna consciousness even if he is in different types of material engagement. By constantly being absorbed in the thought of Krishna, one cannot be affected by the contamination of material activities. The gopis are, therefore, perfectly in trance, samadhi, the highest perfectional stage of mystic power. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is confirmed that one who is constantly thinking of Krishna is a first-class yogi among all kinds of yogis. My dear friends, one lady told another, we must accept the gopis' activities to be the highest form of piety. Otherwise, how could they have achieved the opportunity of seeing Krishna both morning and evening when he goes to the pasturing ground with his cows and cowherd boyfriends and returns in the evening? They frequently see him playing on his flute and smiling very brilliantly. When Lord Krishna, the supersoul of every living being, understood that the ladies in the assembly were anxious for him, he decided not to continue wrestling, but to kill the wrestlers immediately. The parents of Krishna and Balaram, namely Nanda Maharaj, Yasoda, Vasudeva, and Devaki, were also very anxious because they did not know the ultimate strength of their children. Lord Balaram was fighting with the wrestler Mushtika in the same way that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, was fighting and wrestling with Chanura. Lord Krishna appeared to be cruel to Chanura, and he immediately struck him thrice with his fist. The great wrestler was jolted, to the astonishment of the audience. Chanura then took his last chance and attacked Krishna just as one hawk swoops down upon another. Folding his two hands, he began to strike the chest of Krishna. But Lord Krishna was not even slightly disturbed, no more than an elephant that is hit by a flower garland. Krishna quickly caught the two hands of Chanura and began to wheel him around, and simply by this centrifugal action, Chanura lost his life. Krishna then threw him to the ground. Chanura fell just like the flag of Indra, and all his nicely decorated ornaments were scattered hither and thither. Mushtika, who struck Balaram, also struck Balaram, and Balaram returned the stroke with great force. Mushtika began to tremble, and blood and vomit flowed from his mouth. Distressed, he gave up his vital force and fell down just as a tree falls down in the hurricane. After the two wrestlers were killed, a wrestler named Kuta came forward. Lord Balaram immediately caught him in his left hand and killed him nonchalantly. Another wrestler of the name Shala came forward, and Krishna immediately kicked him and cracked his head. Another wrestler named Toshala came forward and was killed in the same way. Thus all the great wrestlers were killed by Krishna and Balaram, and the remaining wrestlers began to flee from out the assembly of fear for their lives. All the coward boyfriends of Krishna and Balaram approached them, congratulated them with great pleasure, while drums beat, and they talked of the victory. The leg bells of the feet of Lord Krishna and Balaram tinkled. So, I sobered up here. Krishna. Krishna Chaitanya. Woo! Krishna.